Good evening, viewers. Welcome to Issues at Hand, WBS TV. Your host, Peter Chiwazo. An interesting start to a week in the Parliament of Uganda. One of those rare things that happen. With me in the studio this evening, I have Honorable Hon Mpuuga, Masaka Municipality. Welcome.
Thank you, Peter, and good evening, viewers.
Right. Viewers, this week, the Speaker of Parliament, Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Jacob Olanya, made an observation that I must say I'm very guilty of sharing as well. He believes the Parliament of Uganda is a crowd, and I affirm it is. He believes the quality of members of Parliament on the large is really what you get with a crowd, and I don't know whether I differ with that. He thinks that they do not do research. I just think that so many of them just cannot do research. He thinks they don't. I'm saying I think most of them can't. And by that, therefore, the affirmation that he doesn't make is, I think someone needs to shove that house out of that place and rework the mechanics that deliver the members of Parliament to this place. Rework the quality markers. I know of a civil society group that thinks, one, members of Parliament as a minimum should have worked for at least 10 years to be a member of Parliament. You should raise the education level. I don't think if you raise the education level, you get better. But I think there should be another marker from society that will deliver us. But are the rest of us very different? I don't know. Honorable Hon Mpuuga.
Yes, Peter.
Are you part of the crowd? Or aren't you?
Well, first of all, putting into context the statement by the Right Honourable Speaker, the Speaker of Parliament, who is my leader in that very important house. For starters, I have no idea what motivated his statement, and whether it was out of frustration or out of viewing anew that actually we needed to do things different. The office of the Speaker is one of the most important offices in this land. I think about the third or fourth in the land. And at that, any statement made by the Speaker cannot be taken into passing as just a statement in jest. I contend that this was a message we thought through by the Speaker, and being a man with immense experience in that house, he must have reflected on its implications and indeed its genesis. Having said that, Peter and viewers, I think the Speaker of the House, what I did not read, perhaps I missed it in his statement, is explain to the country how we came to this point. I appreciate he's been a member of Parliament, I think for the last, I think it's the 6th Parliament. And
he missed out one of them.
Yeah, by no means that's not a little experience, that's vast experience. And perhaps what he should have helped the country understand better is how he came to that point, how to the point where the House became a crowd, and at that a crowd that is devoid of control, a crowd that has a serious deficit of quality, that's very deficient in terms of output, in terms of the quality of debate, because essentially it's garbage in, garbage out. What we need to understand from his statement, and indeed its intrinsic meaning, is that it is an indictment of the work of Parliament. And this is an indictment meted out by his own head. You know, the Honourable Olanya is my friend. And having given that statement, I'm eagerly waiting to see how he changes the manner in which the House moves. Because at the end of the day, under our rules and under the Constitution, the Speaker has a lot of powers in influencing debate. In fact, if the Speaker cared, could actually direct the nature and quality of debate. For the last 3 years I've been in Parliament. When you'd like to have a matter move in a particular congruent way, there are members you can give leadership of that matter. And on a number of occasions, I think colleagues viewing this program would agree with me, we have tried to invite the Speaker, sometimes beseech the Speaker. I'm not referring to the Honorable Lanya in particular, but I'm referring to the Speaker. And when I say the Speaker, I'm referring to all occupants of this important chair. We have tried, beseeched the Speaker, one, to make sure that we operate as per the rules. Two, to ensure that whatever matter we are debating actually reflects the kind of image you would like the public to perceive our Parliament.
Honorable Mpuuga.
Yes.
I know with the fear of any fault, I think you sound moralizing the issue.
No. Get me right. I'm giving a background to this whole idea, and if only you give me 2-3 minutes to complete this and take you where you want to go, because I know where you want to go. You want me to agree that actually the house in which I am a member
is a crowd.
Is a crowd.
But it is.
But I mean,
it is, isn't it?
That does not require an intellectual debate. If you have a Parliament where members cannot find a decent seat, that's already not just a crowd, but I mean a rally of sorts. But I was trying to get to the genesis. I was trying to explain that we need to understand how this has come to be.
You, like me,
yes,
do not differ with Jacob Olanya that we have our crowd
yes,
for Parliament.
In my preamble, I was trying to say that the Right Honourable Speaker is actually making a very important statement, but perhaps the wrong person making the right statement.
Hold. Does it matter who says the truth?
No.
Would the truth change by who bellows out the truth? If Jacob Olanya says this Parliament is a crowd, this Parliament is devoid of quality, this Parliament is short on attendance, this Parliament is short on assistance to generate quality, and Peter Kibazo says it, and Matthias Mpuuga says it, and says the same thing, would that truth preeminently change because of who delivers the truth?
Necessarily not, but it reflects on whether those were personal statements or institutional statements. I would then go to question his role in generating that crowd, because my very respectable speaker, deputy speaker, at some stage chaired, I think, a parliamentary committee for legal affairs, and whose mandate, whose part of its mandate was to generate as many districts as this country can. Every corner can become a district. I do not know at what stage he realized that he was creating a crowd. And for me, again, just like you said, that's not the point. The point is, does it then mean that he is going to roll back in as far as his leadership of the House is concerned? On several occasions, we have questioned the creation of districts. Not himself, I will not put this to him, but members of the ruling party to which he belongs have actually, argued that these are...
You would possibly qualify that and to say to which he recently belongs.
Well, that's your statement. As long as he belongs, he does belong. And have not supported us in trying to make sure that we roll back on the numbers of members of Parliament. Thankfully, in one of the key propositions I did participate into making, which we are going to bring to Parliament in amendments to the Constitution, we are trying to suggest and propose to roll back on the size of Parliament.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, we know it's going to meet...
In as much as I would love to see it happen, because my gut, and I'll tell you this, is you cannot have 300 or so, and Jacob Olanya says this very well. He says, Uganda, with a population of 35 million people, you have a parliament the size of people with 200 million people. I mean, it's untenable. But my question, and I've always asked, I remember at the end of the 7th Parliament, Honorable Latif Sebagala and I think Severiva Mutumba and then Salam Musumba were toying with the idea that said you needed to go back and define constituencies against a certain population size, against area, as had been decided by the CA. Now, the dilemma came that you had Severiva Mutumba and Latif Sebagala who were sharing a Kawempe, and the question always was, would you forfeit one? And they said, but you see ours is in the city. So, would you expect Parliament in itself, in the way it is constituted, for members of Parliament to sit and say, wait a minute, we need to roll back these constituencies and have fewer, and effectively put their own necks on the line?
But you see, you know, Peter, this is the dilemma. For any member of Parliament, wherever they are, to imagine that they own these constituencies, that once they remain as they are, then they are permanent and pensionable. I think they are mistaken. What actually I found it a bit disturbing from my speaker was that he was trying to make comparison to earlier debates that he referred to the 8th Parliament, to the 7th Parliament, and other parliaments.
And he actually says that, let me just see, I think my producer has pictures of the Right Honourable Deputy Speaker talking to us. Mr. Walusimbi, if I could have those pictures run so we put the debate in context, just in case we don't throw words in his mouth.
Look at the discussions that the Buangor used to have, the Honekions used to have, the challenges they used to have, the kind of debates they used to have. And look at our Hansards and compare the two and tell me if I'm wrong. So we miss the big picture in our debate all the time. We miss the big picture. And that is why we are so political, because that is the only thing that you can speak without research on.
He is critical of the total...
Yeah, he's referring to Bengal. These were
Cuthbert Obwango.
Yeah, these were members of Parliament just immediately after independence. And the beauty is it never referred to the immediate last Parliament, which, for example, the Parliament has been referred to as forgettable. He was a part of that Parliament, the 7th Parliament. I mean, these previous parliaments, maybe the last two actually, one of them is responsible for amending the Constitution to remove term limits, and it was also another crowd. They brought more districts. I think to get the issue really back into perspective is defining the role of Parliament in our context and how we should get this role played. The problem now is that every village believes must arrive and have representation. Every household must be represented. And of course, this is not about representation. It's about political expediency. The Honourable Anya, belonging to the ruling party, unfortunately is no longer part of the caucus. I don't know whether he can write to the caucus. The debate must now start from the ruling party that has a forest majority in Parliament. Some of us are on record regarding the size of Parliament. We have questioned the manner in which we debate in Parliament, and that far I am with him. And I am awaiting his leadership in trying to turn around the quality of debate in Parliament, in particular, trying to prioritize the kind of issues we debate in Parliament, away from matters of national importance, where members report how many goats died in their constituencies, how many, chicken died and needs to be, replaced through the means of disaster, those kind of issues. But you see, viewers need to know that indeed the quality of leaders is a reflection of the quality of the society they come from. And I differ if any member out there, any viewer out there tries to blame members of Parliament they elected without reflecting on how they elected these people.
You see,
you did
hold there.
Yes.
Being part of this public, sometimes I think that the political class takes the rest of us for a fool. I believe there are so many Ugandans that are very good, way much better. What has happened to that parliament is people of quote-unquote quality, people that have something to do, people that believe they do not want to drink marwa at the village, have forfeited politics. They are saying, you ask me to go to Parliament so that I am ransacked at the door in the morning. You ask me to go to Parliament so that I tell lies to the crowds on the rally. No, thank you. Let me go and do business. Let me go and work in a different environment. So it is not the lack of good people. It is the vulgarness of the politics that we are operating in today.
Peter, I'll blame you and people who are like you, first of all, for abdicating of your civic duty. The kind of democracies you admire away from here are led by their best. If you leave politics to the dregs of society, then you turn around and blame them. The question will be, where were you when these dregs were being brought to Parliament? If you actually think these members are useless, they're usually potential marijuana drinkers at the villages. But I can assure you, the educated like you have abdicated, and they think somebody must volunteer from wherever they come from and can do for them a good job. If you want the court of Parliament...
Far from that, most of the members of Parliament are seeking it as a job. Well, if I use myself, I'll say I have a job. Most of them are running away because you'll have every one of the people that is in Parliament and has been been running away from a corruption scandal.
Let me tell you.
Every one of them that has been a city engineer has been running away from a scandal and coming into the House. It is... In my church, I don't know the direct translation
is it the job of Parliament to sieve those individuals that are running away from scandal to go to Parliament? Is it just the job of Parliament, whether to which they are elected, to take them back?
It has become the character of Parliament.
The question of the day, who votes these thieves into Parliament, if they are there at all, like you're claiming? Who votes them? You and me can't vote them out there. Why don't decent people like you go and seek for election?
Okay.
What happened
I'll just put a caveat. My member of Parliament is a decent one. My member of Parliament is a decent one. At least I have only one chance to vote a member of Parliament, and I think I have a fairly decent one.
Yeah.
And I even, up to today, do not understand how he could leave a corporate desk to go and join the crowd. But
Peter, don't vulgarize Parliament. Parliament is a decent job and a decent employment. The problem is that this decent job has been left to people who would otherwise be led. If you abdicate leadership to those who are supposed to lead, you actually leaping where you sold. You're not supposed to blame people. You see, what is supposed to change society is the leaders. Leadership is taken over by those who turn up. If you don't turn up, nobody's going to actually wake you up and tell you, hey, Peter, come, here is the vacant job of Parliament to occupy. As long as viewers out there that have a modicum of decency refuse to come up and lead your people, and you turn around and you blame the courageous dregs, it comes with some courage to real gun say, okay, let me go. If somebody has a criminal record and a decent society out there does not actually wake up and say, hey, look, you cannot mirror our society. Because, like I said, leaders mirror the kind of communities they come from. And if you do not come out to say...
And I'm saying this is a broken mirror.
Of course, it's a broken mirror, but...
It doesn't really mirror me.
It's actually my job and your job to fix this mirror or actually replace this mirror.
You see that?
Yeah?
That picture, if someone can give me a freeze of that picture, tells you of the house you have. It is empty. On the days it is not empty, people come and sing and dance. If I could have the other picture when they were singing, we vote, we don't vote, that really has been reduced to that. But away from the mourning, Honorable Mpuuga, away from the mourning and the crying, what do you do to this Parliament? There. Can I have the sound of that as well? I will have the sound of that.
Now, Charles, what you see there, I actually correct. That was part of a problem when we were debating, I think, the Public Order Management Bill initially, and part of that debate and noise.
The Speaker has described as intolerable. Some members can be seen attempting to grab her mess, which is a revered symbol of her authority, from its mantle. It's out of these that the Speaker chose to call a brief plenary sitting in which she announced that she had suspended all plenary sittings until disciplinary action is taken against all those who took part in the role he acts.
I'm committed to steering this House in a proper way, and I will not entertain any behavior that will obstruct my ability to achieve that goal. Yesterday's conduct went to that extent. In that context, I'm suspending the work of this House until that committee has reported to us.
The House Rules, Privileges and Disciplinary Committee is under instruction to review the video recording of the controversial event.
Thank you. I love the record of the archive. Viewers, I bring you those pictures, and those pictures are from the early stages of this particular parliament. But I mean, they are not any different from the cues we've seen when members of parliament are running away from debtors and hiding in parliament. They are not any different. So how do we eject ourselves from this scenario where your member of parliament is the least admirable person in your community, except for the car they drive? Honorable Mpuuga.
Now, Peter and viewers, the onus of having the right people in the right places still lies with the society, with the viewers, and with everyone who wants to see decent politics. The vulgarization of politics, of course, did start with Parliament, and right from the 6th Parliament through the 7th Parliament. Of course, the 8th Parliament took it to another level, and we are where we are because over the years, otherwise well-meaning people have disappeared into that crowd of self-seekers. Okay. And if I had opportunity to question my speaker, I would have asked him how we came to that point as a member of the ruling party. What has been the role of the ruling party? Has been able to speak strongly to his party over its role in vulgarizing politics. The president is on record saying that he prefers people can vote the NRM even when they do not actually properly perceive the issues that are being voted onto. And he's the president. And when you are the head of state and you say that and you are head of a party, you are sending a message to people that actually Parliament is irrelevant. And at the end of the day, you turn around and try to patronize Parliament. Parliament is supposed to be independent. But we have seen over the years, in the 9th Parliament, over the last 3 years, how the president over the years has tried to patronize Parliament and make the work of Parliament,
hold on here,
Parliament to become an extension of the executive of the ruling party.
I have a Matthias Waswa here, who says, Kiwazo, let's get to the bottom of this problem. Is the problem lack of research or is the problem numbers? Is it the problem of the ruling party that members of parliament do not read? Can you blame a party for not reading? And then he says, when it comes to the size of parliament, isn't parliament measured against populations already?
I think my brother sending that message does not have some of the information. Initially, constituencies were supposed to be carved out based on population. Mm-hmm. But over the years, it has turned out that there are so many other considerations, ethnicity, and the president is on record saying he's going to even carve out more constituencies because there are some tribes that are quarreling. He wants to separate them. So that's a premise for carving out a constituency. On whether members of parliament are making research or not, I think, Peter, on another day, we need to discuss the changing role of the member of parliament. If the member of parliament was only playing that role in a fourth term, namely legislation, oversight, representation, and appropriation. Okay, we would actually have members of parliament play their role properly and have ample time to do research. If members of parliament were properly facilitated to do the job that is done in most other decent democracies, there would be no excuse for members of parliament not doing a research and come to the House without closely with adequate knowledge. But I think, importantly, in our pseudo democracy, the role of a member of parliament is more than that fourth term, and this is creating a very serious deficit in the presence of members of parliament, because members of parliament...
Let me give you a bit of feedback from someone that I don't know whether you share the mind, but this is what he says. This is Benon Fred Twinamasiko from Makerere. He says, Peter, ask Honorable, what does he think motivated his voters to send him to the House, apart from being M7 opposer? As Honorable blames the creation of districts, aren't the district officials Ugandans? For me, my mind looks at this as purely job creation. If only they can fulfill the roles they are appointed or voted for. For him, this is job creation. You've created a number of jobs. Just do your job. Do your job, and that's it. Sendaura Alex Peter, what would Honorable Lanya expect an active member of Parliament? Would Honorable Lanya expect an active member of Parliament when the majority of the members stand to speak under the influence of their parties, not their minds? I know Lanya knows that very well. That's Sendaura Alex. Kawanguzi Paul. Kawanguzi Kawanguzi Paul, unfortunately, I don't think that the message is very appropriate. I'll understand it and I'll find a way of saying it without putting it directly the way you do. Viewers, please, when you put your message, even when you have a very strong feeling, do not directly insult. We'll take a break.